Warning, this video contains messages about sexual abuse and talks about things that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
You know what they say, the bigger the hoop, the bigger the hoe. Excuse me, I'm trying to film here. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I have been gone for a little bit. I found these chips at this place called the Asian Market here in Oklahoma. And it is dokboki. Dokboki. That's what it says down here. Anyway, it's 3,000 won. It says it down here, which is basically like $2.55 here in America. So not too bad. And they are really good. They look like this. And they're so good. Another thing is I got this stuff called Miracle Link hair growth or something. Miracle Link Wholesale, I think, is the name of the actual website itself. But she has some hair growth stuff on her channel, on her website. And I got it. So I got the shampoo and conditioner, and I also got the oil, like Miracle Drop oils or something. So I'm gonna be using that in my natural hair, and hopefully it actually like makes my hair grow because I'm tired of having short hair. But for now, let's go ahead and get into this story of my first boyfriend ever. When I got my first boyfriend, I was 19 years old. I know 19 years old seems kind of like old to have your first boyfriend. I was allowed to have a boyfriend starting at the age of 16, but I was in high school. I had guys coming at me left and right. I'm sure you guys can imagine. And I really did not care for a boyfriend. I didn't feel the need to really necessarily get a boyfriend. I didn't want one. After I moved from California out here to Oklahoma with my dad, I ended up meeting this guy. He was Asian. He was Malaysian, actually, from Malaysia. And I met him through one of my really cool friends from Walmart. I used to work at Walmart. And I was 19 years old, and this was in like 2015. So this was right before I went. No, this was like, when was this? Yeah, 2015. It was like January or something of 2015. So this is right before a couple months before I decided to go to the Air Force. So I met this girl. Her name was Ronnie, and I loved her. She was like really like one of my best friends at the time. And I ended up going with her to church. Now, me personally, I'm not a big church person just because I don't believe in organized religion. But I decided to go to church with her because I don't judge people based on their religion or what they believe. I just don't. I love you for who you are. So I go to church with her, and I end up meeting her best friend. Now, Ronnie and this guy, his name is JC, like, they have been best friends for the longest of times. Like, I'm talking the longest of times. And, yeah, I mean, we sort of, like, hit it off really cool. Like, I like, to this day, I kind of, like, still think that he's really attractive. We kind of like fell for each other, and we started dating. Now, there were a bunch of red flags that was popping up that I did not pay attention to. Like, he would take me out at like 11 o'clock at night and then would say that I can't come over to his house at like that late because in his culture, basically if you're out with a girl that late, she's essentially a whore. But it was kind of just like, okay, whatever. I let it slide. I'm like, all right, fine. I won't go to your parents' house because they might think I'm a whore. Okay, fine. So I let that slide. Every time I wanted him to like come hang out, or if I made plans for us to do something, it was all his excuse for everything was I'm grocery shopping with my parents. Like, I mean, how many times per week do you guys go grocery shopping? Because I mean, literally every single time his excuse was I'm grocery shopping with my parents. What the So, of course, with every relationship gets to the point where eventually you guys will have sex at some point. If you are of age to do that. If you're younger than like, I don't even know, just don't do it until you get married. It got to the point where he started asking for sex. And me, I was still a virgin. I know, it's kind of hard to believe. I know. No, I'm kidding. But no, I was a virgin all the way up until I met this guy. It's kind of hard to talk about because I don't really know what happened this night. But I do feel that it was sort of like a RAPE type of situation because it hurt. I don't want to do it or whatever. But he was like, please, can you at least try for me? And I was like, okay. I'm just nice or I used to be like just nice when it came to boys that I liked. And I was kind of just like, okay, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll try. Now, I am a 6 feet tall girl. I am literally 6 feet even. And he was about 5'8". So we were in the front seat of the car on the passenger side. So for me, this was highly uncomfortable and I really did not want to do it. But I was like, okay. He got on top of me and like we were kissing and things like that. And then he tried to go in and it hurt because I was not wet enough. And yeah, he stopped. He was getting obviously frustrated because he wanted to have sex. And for me, I was kind of just like thinking in this situation, just like, what do I do? It's like, do I want it? Do I not want it? And it was definitely very difficult because we were in the parking lot of my mom's apartment complex because I had stayed with my mom. I was with my mom for a little bit. So it was definitely awkward. Like I didn't know what to do. But I did tell him no, that I don't want to do this anymore. And then he said, okay, I'm sorry, like, okay. And so he just got on top of me. Our pants are still down. And then we started like making out and things like that. And then he, as we're like making out and things like that, he basically just whispered in my ear and was just like, I'm sorry. And then just jammed it in, like just jammed it. And at that point, the pain, the feeling of betrayal, like everything just, I didn't know how to feel in that moment. I feel like it was kind of like just taken from me at that moment. It did not feel good. I was in a lot of pain. I went inside and I started bawling. Like I'm talking bawling. And normally I don't cry. Like I'll tear up. I don't really cry, but I was literally bawling at this point. And my mom, she held me and she's like, what's going on? What's going on? Because she was about to go kill somebody. And I was like, I had sex with them. I lost my virginity. And I didn't, back then in that moment, I thought that I was upset because I lost my virginity and I felt like I let my parents down because they told me to wait until marriage. They had me very young. Both my parents had me at 19 and 20. And so they didn't want me to end up being pregnant and having kids at such a young age. And at the time I was crying because I thought that I let my parents down tremendously. But now when I think back on it, I was crying because something tragic had just happened to me. So you would think that I would break up with him after this. Yeah, no. I ended up staying with him for months after that. Like we started dating in like February, March, April, May, June, July, because July is when I went to the Air Force, and then I came back August off medical discharge, and I broke up with him after that. So I had dated him for 6 months, essentially. Now, in between the time before July, you know, we had sex and things like that, and there was a lot of red flags that I should have just broke up with him. He would sneak me in the house, like into his house at night, and then we would have to leave extra early in the morning so his parents didn't see me. He would stop like sitting next to me at church, but he would always get up with Ronnie and like go to the bathroom with her. And it was the weirdest thing. Like, they said that they never dated, they don't date, they don't, around or anything like that. Like, they're just best friends. But this was like weird. Like, it's like you have that intuition where you're kind of just like I don't think that you're just best friends at this point. There was one time, which I've never told this to anybody, I don't think, but there was one time where he tried to have sex with me while my sister was in the room. And it was the most awkwardest, most weirdest thing that could have ever happened to me, because my sister is literally sitting right there, and it's like, why are you trying to have sex with me when my sister is right there? Like, what the hell? So, yeah, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff, and I allowed it to happen. But it was something that most definitely there are other girls who have been through a lot worse. But in this moment, for me, it was just the most stressful thing ever. We always had to do it at my place when my mom was gone. I could never go to his place. It was very rare occasions that I could go to his place. Whenever I wanted to do something, and I did sit him down and talk about it, and I literally got a panic attack from trying to talk to him about it, because I was just like, we always just have sex. Like, that's all we do. Like, why can't we do anything else? And yeah, he just he didn't listen to me. He heard me when I said, like, we need to go on dates, let's like go do stuff. Like, why do we not do anything outside of like having sex in church? And it's, when I came back from the Air Force, I broke up with him. I'm telling this story not to be sympathized, but to let everybody know, girl or guy, that you don't have to take that from anybody. He was essentially a boy, and I didn't have my guard up. My guard was down completely. I was very naive. And it's something that is part of my past. Just recently, actually, when I was working in the salon at the mall, he stalked me. He would stalk me at the mall. He knew exactly where I worked, what times I worked, to the point where my sister ended up running into him, and she was like, JC, is that you? And he was like, oh, hi, Alex. Oh my God, hi. Like, where's your sister? And she's like, oh, she's at work. Oh, tell her I said hi, blah, blah, blah. And so she comes in and she's like, guess who I ran into? JC. I'm like, what? But yeah, I mean, when I DM'd him on Instagram, and I was just like, hey, my sister heard that she heard you. Like, why didn't you come say hi? I'm at, like, I work over here. And he's like, oh, I know where you work. I was just like, how do you know where I work? He's like, oh, because of, Facebook, stuff like that. It's like I barely posted anything on Facebook about my job at that point. So, yeah. So learn from my mistakes. If you're young, if you're older, whatever it may be, or whoever you may be, at whatever time that you may be watching this, learn from my mistakes and look at the red flags. You don't have to take that kind of behavior from anybody, whether you're a virgin or not. If you don't want to have sex with somebody and they're just like, I'm sorry, and just jamming in, like, get out. Get out of that situation as fast as possible. I should have got out of that situation as fast as possible, and I didn't. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do have lots of plans in the future. I want to start like a podcast or something. I've been getting back into my Logan Paul videos. I've actually caught myself watching a lot of his older vlogs and stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I low-key miss Logan. Like, I low-key miss the old Logan, but I really do love this new Logan. Like, not gonna lie. Like, this lash is cutting my eyeball open. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe if you are not subscribed already, and make sure you hit that bell notification so that you know every time I post. All of my socials are listed down below, including my business email if anybody wants to hit me up for some sponsorships or for a modeling gig or something, you know. I'm here. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. These chips are so good.